America, after Trump said that black jobs were being taken over by migrants and we should elect him in order to protect black jobs, people went to Twitter and said, well, there's no such thing as black jobs. What's a black job? President is a black job. No, that's not true. CNA and sanitation workers are black jobs, right? President is a job, President of the United States is a job that was once occupied by a black man. Right. It happens, but it's not like you can throw a rock and hit presidents in a black neighborhood. Although you can throw a rock in a black neighborhood, especially in the South, and hit a CNA or a sanitation person. And those people are going to be people who actually own houses. What's actually interesting is that even black money, and if you ignore this, you ignore what black money looks like. And I said before, and I'll say it again, black money, real stable black money. Your black millionaires, they're not going to be huge generational millionaires. They're going to be a nurse and a cop or some parole officer and a healthcare administrator, whatever, who are married, and a teacher mixed in there, who are married and stay married and don't get divorced. That's a black millionaire. That's what black money looks like. In other words, black money is just barely what middle-class white people would consider like barely money, right? And people say like, well, there are a million black millionaires in the United States. First of all, there might be 1.6 million black millionaires, but you know what that means? There are 47 million black people. And when there are 47 million black people and only 1.6 black millionaires, and when you think about where black people live and the cost of living in, for example, in California, in New York, that pretty much means that you own a house in California. You can have nothing else to your name, but if you own a house in California, you're technically a black millionaire. You have to scramble to pay taxes on that house every time. And you don't know, like you can't live very well, but you have a house. It's not even a big house in some areas of California. If you just happen to have a house there, you are technically a black millionaire. That doesn't mean you can make moves, unless you like sell that house and move to Arkansas or something like that, West Virginia, to get disposable income. So even if there are 1.6 black millionaires out of the 47 million black millionaires, that's not even real black money diffused around the community. That's just like a handful of people who own houses in California and then someone's uncle who owns a house in the DMV. DMV houses aren't that expensive yet, but they're going to be soon enough. Right. So that's not real money. And especially when you consider that you only really think about money in terms of other people's money. Money doesn't exist in a vacuum. So millionaire is not that much when you consider that one out of every seven white families is worth $1 million. And since we pay the same prices for things, it's not as if you get a black price for something and a white price for something else. No, we pay the same prices for this same things, and white people set the price. That means we're still priced out of America functionally. Right. And so 1 out of every 7 white families is worth $1 million. 1 out of every either 45 to 50, depending on the report you look at, black families is worth $1 million. So $1 million is, and the black families that are worth $1 million are worth like 1.1, 1.4. The top. Anyway. So, that's just saying that black money doesn't look like white money. Black jobs are a thing. We talk about black Twitter being a thing. If you can understand black Twitter being a thing, but you can't understand black jobs being a thing, you're posing. If you can understand black television being the same thing, if you can say black television shows include What's Happening, Sanford and Son, Good Times, the original. First of all of those produced by white people, which is a whole nother problem. But you can't understand black jobs being a thing. You're posing for ignorance, right? The blackest playwright, August Wilson, actually is legit black. Right? But so we need to stop posing that there aren't such things as black jobs and start naming some black jobs. So I named some black jobs, CNA and sanitation worker. And instead of pretending that those aren't black jobs, we should be asking ourselves why black people are disproportionately shunted to those jobs, into being CNA and sanitation workers. You can say, well, it's because those are unskilled labor. Actually, they do jobs that other people don't want to do. And anytime you do a job that other people don't want to do, that's a skill. It's a skill of sucking it up and doing a job that other people don't want to do. And, plumbers get paid a lot of money, not because of their expertise necessarily, but because they spend a lot of their days elbow deep in poop, right? But they get paid a lot of money to doing that. So that's why it's like we need to understand that the skill of being paid jobs other people don't want to do is itself a skill that should be honored as such. So instead of just asking ourselves, telling ourselves that there's no such thing as black jobs, or black jobs can be anything. When you talk about an NFL team, you can say, oh, there's no such thing as a black jobs. Black people can be quarterbacks, they can be centers, they can be fullbacks, they can be anything. But no, you're lying. The black job in the NFL is cornerback, defense, and it's the most punishing one. So if you just pretend that black people are quarterbacks and not cornerbacks, you are lying. Not only lying to yourself, you're distorting the discourse about why black people get shunted into the most dangerous, most CTE intensive jobs. Right? So instead of having a good conversation about why black people are shunted into those jobs instead of these jobs, we just get in playing the game that like our aspirational politics that we're so insecure that we have distorts the discourse, and we start saying like, well, Doug Williams played quarterbacks, so a black job in the NFL isn't just necessarily defense and especially cornerbacks, it's quarterbacks too. And to which case, like, you're just lying to yourself and confusing the problem. Don't confuse the problem. So let's talk about black jobs, CNAs and sanitation workers. Insofar as they are necessary jobs, which, I don't know if America works very well without CNAs and sanitation workers. Insofar as they are necessary jobs, we have to ask why these jobs aren't better compensated. Right? So why, when black people start doing a necessary job, we find a reason to keep the compensation low. And then when black people start organizing for better compensation, they find migrant labor who won't organize for better compensation. So that is the conversation we should have, instead of Trump saying, well, immigrants are coming to take our jobs, which is xenophobic and not unnecessarily so. We can say that, well, there are black jobs, but we need to talk about why they aren't better compensated. And when black people agitate for compensation, they get removed for a population that's so vulnerable that they won't organize for compensation, or has, money that they're sending back where the dollar is stronger and it buys more. So they'll pay they'll take the low wages, and instead of trying to save up for a house in California, they're saving for a house in Chiapas. And that's a different, that's a different calculus. Right. So I want to talk about just admitting the truth of black jobs. And first of all, and then also, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to start another one about what DEI and black jobs means for the DEI industry. Take care.